Hi, scholars. We're talking about the American Revolution today. Today, we're going to be talking about the main battle for New England. Now, really, it was a campaign, a series of battles, and the first one you know about, the battles of Lexington and Concord. We learned a lot about that. That was April of 1775. A month later, the Patriots attacked the British Fort Ticonderoga in New York and took their cannons, which was a really big win because now they had heavy artillery. A month later, the Patriots decided to take the high ground in Boston to try to completely take the port of Boston. The problem that the Patriots had was even though that they were at the top of the hill, they didn't have a fort there. So they built some trenches in one night because the British found out and the British were going to attack. So they worked all through the night to dig these trenches. Then what happened is they positioned themselves at the top of the hill behind these trenches, and their main problem was that they did not have enough ammunition because those cannons had not arrived yet. So all they had were their guns and their bullets. That was their main problem. Well, the British had 2,400 soldiers. The Americans only had 1,600. The British thought if we attack, the Americans, they'll just run away. So let's start marching up this hill in our regular orderly line, and the Americans, they'll run away because that's the smart thing to do. We outnumber them and we outgun them. Well, the Americans, they didn't have any of that. They forced the British back down the hill. So then the British got mad and they started bombing Charleston with their cannons, and the whole town caught on fire. Well, during the second charge, the Americans won again. They forced those British soldiers down the hill again. On the third charge, the Americans, they had run out of ammunition. So they had to have some hand-to-hand combat, and then they had to leave. They had to retreat. Now, at the end of the battle, 441 American soldiers were killed or wounded, but more than double that, 1,150 British soldiers were killed or wounded, and we call that a Pyrrhic victory. That means even though the British won the battle, ultimately, they really did lose because they lost more men, suffered the embarrassment of having lost yet another battle to these Americans. Even though they won, they kind of lost. So, a year later, George Washington showed up with the cannons from Fort Ticonderoga. And with those cannons, he was able to take Boston back from the British. This is what you're going to do today. You're going to answer these 4 questions in those text boxes. Then what you're going to do is you're going to insert a picture right here. Let me show you how to do that. Insert, image, search the web. Now I typed in Battle of Bunker Hill. I'm going to choose a random picture here. I'll choose this one. And I'm going to insert it. Okay. I actually chose 2 on accident. Let me choose that again. Insert, image. Okay, I'll choose this one. Ooh, that one fit pretty well, but as you can see, it doesn't quite fit. So what I want to do is I want to just kind of adjust it. Now I want to make it big enough to fit the space, but as you can see, it's a little too tall on the top. I'm going to move it over here a little bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to crop it. I'm going to cut the top part off so that it fits in there. Now I'm done. When you're done typing all the answers and inserting your image, please make sure you turn it in. There's also a text for you to read. If you read that text, you will find these answers. Please make sure that you read the text. Thank you for listening. I want everybody to stay safe and keep learning.